Good morning everyone and welcome to Thursday Takeaway, where we're continuing our series on devotion. And based around Acts 2:42, we're looking at the part which says they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching. What was that teaching? Well, another word that we very often hear being talked about is doctrine. And doctrine is described as a set of beliefs that are accepted by a group of people. So what were the beliefs that these apostles had, that these apostles taught, that the early church were given, that had been given to them from Jesus? Well, if we look at the two who were walking on the road to Emmaus, we read that after Jesus' resurrection, as they were walking there, Jesus came with them, he walked with them. And it tells us in Luke 24:27, and beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in the scriptures concerning himself. So Jesus explained to them everything about himself. You know, Paul, very often, wherever he went, he would do exactly the same thing. He would go into the synagogues first in any town that he went to. He would try to persuade the Jews about Jesus being the Messiah from their scriptures. And then he would move on to the Gentile believers that were in the town or the city, wherever he was. And at that time, they only had the Pentateuch and the prophets. They didn't have the New Testament. It was still to be written. You know, Jesus told the disciples to go into all the world to preach the gospel. He told them to baptize in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Jesus taught them the real way to live the Mosaic law, about empowerment that would be coming from the Comforter, about how his life could be seen from the prophecies of the Old Testament and how they were all fulfilled. Their devotion was to the people, to the church, and to, as it was known then, the way. There are over 350 Old Testament prophecies fulfilled in the life of Jesus Christ, starting in Genesis 3:15, talking to him about being about the seed of a woman by virgin birth. And it carries on right through the Old Testament, even to the last book in Malachi. There are more prophetic ministries, prophetic words about the life of the Messiah. In John 14:6, Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. The apostles taught about Jesus being the Messiah and continued in the same fashion as Jesus had, speaking in the temple areas daily about Jesus being the Son of God, being crucified for mankind's sin, being buried in a grave for 3 days, about his victory and resurrection from the grave, and how he ascended back to his Father in heaven. This wasn't the end though, as Jesus had promised his disciples a comforter, and his arrival is described here in Acts chapter 2, and is one of the leading men it's about leading men into all truth about God, as we read in John 16 verses 13 to 15. They were devoted to understanding who Jesus is and fulfilling his commands to them. By sharing the gospel wherever they went, they were devoted, and when the church moved out due to persecution, the church grew wherever they found a home. Their devotion had prepared them to be able to stand on their own feet and make disciples of all men, which is the exact same challenge we have today, whether it is a family member, a close friend, a work colleague, or someone else. We all are called to share about the life of Jesus with the whosoever in our lives. Let's all be devoted to the apostles' doctrine so that we too are ready and prepared, and whatever may happen, to stand as men and women of God, devoted not just to the doctrine of the apostles, but to the fact that Jesus Christ is alive and alive forevermore. God bless you, God be with you, and may you know God's blessing resting upon you.